What's up, guys? It is Rick Ginn, and today we are talking all about what not to say to your sellers. Honestly, I've spent so much time telling you guys what to say to the sellers, and sometimes the best way to learn is figure out what you can't say. And once you know what you can't say, then it's kind of easy from there. So if you guys don't know me, my name is Rick Ginn. I've been doing wholesaling for 20 years plus, and let's get started, man. We're going to talk about all what not to say in wholesaling today. We're talking about what not to say to sellers, because honestly, a lot of times when you say the wrong thing, it can absolutely kill your deal and it can be over before it even started. So I decided, hey, let's just simplify it. I'm going to go over what not to say. Now, I can't go everything you're going to say. If you want to learn exactly what to say, how to say it, and the right way to say it, do me a favor. You can simply go over to freewholesaling.com. I'll put it on your screen here. That is a course that me and my son have created. And here's the really cool part. You want to know what the fee is to get into it? It's your email address. That's it. I never charge you a fee. The really cool thing is if you subscribe to how me and Zach teach wholesaling, number one, you'll never pay. You're going to pay with your time, and you're going to pay with your enthusiasm, and you're going to pay it forward to someone else to help them get along, just like when you got started. And that's what we're going to do. And by doing that, I create a legacy to prove you guys that the gurus think everything's pay for play. And most gurus don't have a ton of knowledge about wholesaling. And there is a huge population of gurus that know very little about wholesaling, but man, are their fees huge. And you know why I know? Because you guys comment on them all the time. And they've been around forever. Guys, this is 2023. It is not 2003 anymore. The way you learn in wholesaling is actually completely different. And if you're not on this wave, join us at freewholesaling.com. We'll show you how to get everything going. So let's jump into it. As I said, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. This is the Rick Ginn channel, because on my channel, I release exclusive videos that I don't release on Flip with Rick, and I don't do it on my son's channel. Why? Because some of you guys like hearing from the old guy, and so we can segment some of our information. So if you like working with me a little bit better, that's great. If you want to jump over to the younger side of my son, you can go over to zachginn.com. Same thing, they just do it on the younger man's version. And honestly, if you love what you see today, just make sure you smash that like button. So let's get into it, because I want to help you guys out as much as I can. So so you have to remember this key function. It's what not to say. That is going to be the secret here. I don't know why everything's popping up. It's going to change the color code. Anyways, so let's jump into it. It's going to be an interesting one. So what not to say to your seller. So the key term, and I kind of do this what I feel like the order of importance. So if I only had one thing to teach you, it'd be like this top line is, ready? Don't ask a seller what. There is a huge difference. So if you're asking what, let me give you an example. Hey, Mr. Seller, what do you want for your house? How much are you asking for your house? These are all implied words that are used in the realtor world, and they have no business in the wholesaling world at all. If you start using words like this, you're going to get answers you do not want. Why? Because you're evoking a preset condition, a subconscious answer with it. So let me give it. So we are looking for people that don't want to sell their house. Actually, let me, I'm going to get still the same thing. But so when you talk about a want, you've got to understand a want is a want. I want a lot of things. You guys want a lot of things. We all want. If you ask a seller what they want, you're going to get a wish list 100% of the time. So when it comes to wholesaling, you have to be very careful what you ask for. So if you ask a seller what they want for the house, you're going to get a wish list price. How much you asking for the house? Wish list price. So how do we turn that around to our advantage? Number one, stop saying it. Do not use the word want. We are going to replace the word want and request what the seller needs. Okay. We are only buying properties where they have a high motivation to sell. They need to sell. They don't want to sell. You see, people who want to sell, go see a realtor. Go see my realtors. They'll take great care of you. And to be honest with you, you want to avoid those people like the plague, because they're the ones that will drive you nuts, waste your time, never make a decision, ghost you, and will burn you out of wholesaling. So if you understand that when it comes time to ask questions, instead of saying, hey, Mr. Seller, what do you want for this house? Hey, Mr. Seller, what do you need to get out of this house? That it's complete brain switch. So both are subconscious, but we're looking for their subconscious bottom line price. If you ask them what they want, you're going to get their subconscious highest price. So we want to be here. And if you stop using the word want, you can now find out what they need, because we all know what people want. They want everything. So they're all going to want $1 million for the house. So ask them what they need. Mr. Seller, what do you need to get away to walk away from this house, from this? End of story. Replace the word want with need. And if you're not asking like that, you have the wrong seller. I'm telling you, if you just take that rule, it will change how you do wholesaling. So many of you guys are trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. It doesn't work that way. If the motivation's not there, do not waste your time. Asking questions like, what do you need for your house, is something a realtor asks. What should we ask for your house? Well, I think it's worth $500,000, but I like to ask $595,000. Well, let's see if someone will pay for it. It's not going to be us, so you've got to understand that. So want to need, guys, it is everything. I hear so many of you guys saying, what do you want for your house? No, Mr. Seller, what do you need to get? And when they say that, go, listen, like what's the number that gets this done for you? And when you say that, it is completely different on how you are responding to them. So the next thing is lying to sellers, man. You guys got to stop doing this. So many gurus out there teach you just fake it till you make it. It doesn't work that way. If you fake it till you make it, it means you never knew what you were doing in the first place. So you're only faking yourself out. So number one, when you get a question and you don't know the answer, you got a choice. You can either lie to your seller, and when you lie, you better write down your lie, put it in your CRM, because once you start lying, it is a rabbit hole you will keep spiraling down until you get caught. How are you going to get caught? There's no way to track your lie. So the easiest way to avoid lying is don't do it, number one. So if you don't know an answer, just say, listen, that is a great question, Mr. Seller. I have somebody on my team that I know they know the answer, and I'm going to see him later this afternoon. Do you mind if I run that by him? And do you mind if I come back at 5 and then we can go over it with you? Or can I call you at 5? Just don't lie to him. If you don't lie to him, you never have to worry about it and you don't get all stressed out. So many of you guys are running around like you are an absolute expert in real estate. It's okay in the beginning. I didn't know anything. I still don't know everything. When I don't know the answer, I just say, listen, I don't sit there and hang on it that I don't know. I said, that is a great question. And you know what? I want to get an expert to answer that. I have somebody on my team. Can I get back to you in a couple hours and give you the correct answer? Number one, they'll respect you. Number two, it's going to make them feel more at ease for you. And number three, you don't have to lie about it. I'm just telling you, if you would just take this stop lying to people. It sucks. Nobody can keep up with your lies. It's complete hogwash. So let's go over trigger words, because we're talking about what not to say to sellers. And guys, this is 21 years of experience. This is a big one right off the bat. And most of you are making this mistake right now. You ready? Stop telling people you're a wholesaler and investor. I know it's what you did. Well, Rick, I'm lying. You're not lying. The problem is you do not want to be stereotyped. Do you know that most realtors, when you use the word wholesaler, negative connotation, they look at you like a used car salesman. It's the truth, guys. I'm a wholesaler. I have to deal with this all the time. Matter of fact, when I go to buy properties in the commercial arena, I am attacked as a wholesaler because I'm all over the net as a wholesaler and I can't really hide it. And I have properties that I'm paying cash for or traditional financing for millions of dollars, and they hold it over my head as a wholesaler. And honestly, it's a pain in the butt. So understanding, do not introduce yourself to the seller as a wholesaler investor. Well, Rick, what do I call myself? You're simply a cash buyer looking to buy a property in this neighborhood. I want to see if your home qualified. That's it. Once you say wholesaler, they're like, uh-oh, here comes an aggressive used car salesman shark guy coming at me, or gal. And then investor kind of has the same, like it sounds like they have to make a killing off me to buy my house. So we want to avoid any type of preconceptions or anything like that. The best way you can do it is avoid the word wholesaler and investor. Are you lying? No, you're not. But the problem is it's so stereotyped, people will label you. It's like saying, if you say you're a football player, like, oh, you're one of those aggressive, crazy types of people. No, they just have a very high skill set. And so instead of someone saying, hey, am I a football player? They say, hey, I'm an athlete. So there's always a way around it when you want to do it, kind of go from there. Now, here's the next one. You ready for this? House and home. So you guys can go in the comments. Let me know, what do you think the difference between a house and a home is? It's, I'm sorry, I'm reading while I do this. So a house is a house. A house is an implication of where a family typically lives. It's very personalized. A home is not necessarily a house, a property, or anything. A home is really kind of the old saying, it's like where your heart is. That's where you put your head down at night and you feel comfortable and safe. Some people's home could be out on the street. It's just the truth. So home, somebody put it on there. Home is definitely an emotional attachment, and there's a time and a place to use the word home. It is not right out the gate. So when we're first talking to a seller, we want to detach them a little bit from their emotional connection, especially if it's good and positive. So realtors have to go through this all the time. And so you have to switch and replace the words. So home is a state of mind. It is a location in your head. It is a safe place. And when people think they're going to take their safe place away, it causes them to rest, even on a crappy house. So replace the word house and home with simply property. It's just, property is very cold. It's like owning a piece of paper. So the word home is like, hey, are you going to buy my home? You got to be very careful, because a home is not necessarily a house or a piece of property. It's where people feel safe. And remember, if you're buying their house and they have to relocate, they're going to feel vulnerable and they're not going to feel as safe. And so you have to constantly reassure them. So now I will go to house and home to do the final close for an emotional, but I'm always going to try to use it in their forward progressive place they're going. So if they're going to live with their mom in Utah, I say, listen, don't you want to be home in the house with your mom in Utah? Like, oh yeah, that would be great, right? So understand, know how to use it. So in the beginning, we're looking to buy properties in the area. We're not looking to buy houses and homes. Now, this is a big one, guys, and you got to understand this, is so many of you guys carry around, that's a bad example. This is my iPad type of deal. You guys carry around folders when you walk into these appointments. Get rid of them. You should have nothing more than a pen in your pocket and maybe your cell phone, and make sure you put it on vibrate and nothing else. Why? Because it is human nature when you walk in with a bunch of paperwork and you're like little manila folders like I used to, and you have contracts sticking out, your seller will start to gravitate and wait for you to reach for it because they think the answer is in there and you do not get as much attention from them. So the best thing to do is leave it in your car. Go in, take a look at the house, build rapport, take a looks around. Remember, you can always come back, take pictures, take notes, but if you do not connect with them, build rapport and turn it into a conversation, you don't have to worry about keeping notes, taking pictures, because you're not going to get a good deal. So there's something less intimidating when somebody walks in without paperwork. My favorite thing is when a realtor or another investor walks on a property, I have multiple bids going on. All I do is focus on the homeowner. That's all I do. I do not focus on the price. I do not focus on my competition. I focus and clearly listen to what the homeowner needs, and I make sure I address it. And we're going to get to the other parties that show up to these multiple bids because I got a way to deal with it. The other one is just the word contract. I don't know what it is, but this word just makes people tighten up. They freak out when they hear the word contract. They think of finality. They think that they're going to make a financial mistake. So just replacing words. My favorite word to replace it with is just simple, the word agreement. Nobody's ever going to fight you on agreement. You can use autograph. Signature is kind of the same word. So agreement will replace the words like contract and signature, no problem. So now filler words. This is killer in wholesaling. A lot of times when you're with a seller and you think it's going the way you need to, they're giving you all the signs. You get to the end of your negotiation and you throw out and you make some sort of offer. So hopefully you're countering because you went and go for no, but there's this awkward silence. Instead of you letting 20, 30, or 50 seconds or even a minute go by, you use what we call filler words. I was brutally guilty of this in my first year, probably to my second year, is I couldn't stand the awkward silence. I felt like I was going to get out of the house. So I would talk over in those gaps, and it would give the seller more and more time to think and try to come up with the best answer they could do. And the problem is the longer you give them time to think about it, the more crap you're going to get. So when you use filler words because it's awkward, you're working against yourself. The reason you use those filler words is because you feel uncomfortable and it feels like you could cut the tension with a knife. And I get it, but using the words like just constantly. So most filler words that you keep going over the contract over and over and all the things you're going to do for them, you just sometimes have to let people make a decision or let them come up with a counter to get a deal. This is the part of the works of a negotiation that you cannot talk through. And it's painful and it's hard to learn, and you actually have to practice this skill. So when you make a pitch or an offer and it goes awkward silence, stay there. I don't know why, but what it does is it makes their brain work so much more powerful to come out with an answer. And honestly, you might not even get the answer you want, but you'll get finality to where it's going. So the more time you give them by putting in filler words, the more crap you're going to get back. So I want the raw emotional response when I get down to the numbers. And filler words, if you guys do it, it's going to kill you. You are better off as a newbie wholesaler just to shut your mouth and let them speak the word. So always think of negotiations as a volleyball match. When you serve the ball over, you can't talk until they tell you a response. And if you try to talk because they're taking time to forge their thoughts, you are killing your own negotiation skills. Guys, don't be the word filler. I was literally a walking poster child my first year of this. I still did very good, but I talked myself probably out of a dozen deals because it was me who was uncomfortable. The seller wasn't. They were just trying to make a lifetime decision. And if you understand it's going to be the biggest decision of their life, give them the time to make it. Now, sometimes they have to sleep on it and stuff like that, but for the most part, when they're there and they need time, they're trying to process in their brain. You talking only makes it 10 times worse. So let the silence go by. It sometimes feels like it's an hour. I don't know how to describe this. And that's why we get wildly uncomfortable. Remember, they're not your family. They're people you're trying to help out. And remember, you're never going to force them to do a deal with you. They're going to come to their own conclusion eventually. And hopefully it's with you, me, us, whoever it is. But please don't talk yourself out of it by using the filler words. So now, so many of you guys are guilty of asking questions which you wildly don't know the answer for. Now, when you're building rapport with sellers, here's a little trick. correct, especially if you guys are new to it and uncomfortable with it. To make the conversation flow better and more comfortable, ask questions you already know the answers to. Guys, I could do like an entire marriage live stream on this topic alone. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If you ask the question you know the answer to, well, Rick, how am I going to know that? As I'm walking to the car, if I'm walking in, I see somebody has a Trump sticker or a Biden sticker in their car, there's a question you know the answer to. When you see a picture on a bunch of kids, you see the same kids over and over, the same people in there, there's a question I know the answer. Do you have kids? You know they're going to say yes. They could be grandkids, it could be anything. But once you do that, they know you're paying attention, and everybody loves to talk about themselves and their family. So a key thing is, instead of asking such cold questions and you're getting hard nosed, start to ask questions you know the answer to and get them flow and get the conversation going from that. Do you like sports? What? I don't know. He's got 15 sports posters all around his house. I already know the answer to it, but I'm going to ask it. Why? Because I'm trying to get past the likability factor. And if I ask questions I know the answer to, it is a guarantee for me to progress and move forward. So where you get in trouble is you start asking open-ended questions that really have no relevance and you're just shooting from the hip. Do you like the cold weather? Absolutely not. I hate it with a passion. Like, here we go. So use the house around you. Start as you're driving up, and honestly, do intel on people on social media before you even go to their house. And if you can find commonality, go for it. Ask questions you know the answer to. It makes conversations really easy. Guys and gals, if you're married, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If I could ask my wife a question I already knew the answer to, I just feel like it just goes better. When I don't know, I just like, well, I didn't know that. I'm sorry I asked that question. So, okay, we're almost done here. Now, I know this sounds ridiculous. Don't try to be somebody else. That's right. While you guys are on sellers appointments, don't try to be somebody you're not. So I don't care if number one, we don't need any more Zach or Rick in the world. I promise you that. I know my family doesn't want that. And number two is, God gave us our own unique set of abilities. You don't need to go and duplicate. I see so many people because they see their guru wearing a jacket. They got to wear a jacket because their guru wears fancy tennis shoes. They think the tennis shoes are going to help them. A lot of people are going to wear a hat because their coach wears a hat, and it's kind of cute, but it's not going to help you on appointments. And if anything, if you are not your true authentic self, it is going to come through and it's going to cost you business. Be yourself. God's only made one of you. There's a reason for it. You need to accent it. Stop trying to be other people. It doesn't mean you can't emulate them and strive for their goals, but just because somebody wears a jacket doesn't mean you need to go wear a jacket. To me, I guess the person's flattered when you do it, but I don't get it. I need everyone to be themselves. Thank God Elvis had the guts to go out there and be himself, because everybody told him not to be the person he was going to be. And you saw how wildly popular, because we still talk to him. There's movies, people still listen to his music. It's incredible. And if he didn't have the guts to go out and be himself, we would have never had the gift of Elvis. So you are the Elvis of the wholesaling. Go out there. If you're funny, go have fun with it. If you know how to connect with people, do that. If you're very skill set in numbers and reciting facts, just make sure it's entertaining to your sellers. Just try not to go and duplicate your favorite person because you think they're cool, and if you thought you could be like them, it would be really neat. It doesn't work. Being authentic is what people really resonate to, and to be honest with you, it's what most people resonate with me for, and it's why you like this, because when you guys see me on air when I'm off, I'm the exact same person. I don't have a show for you. It's kind of weird. I can't say that about a lot of gurus that go out there. A lot of it's just they get off stage, like they won't talk to anybody, they won't do anything, and I'm like, well, how can you be different than when you're on stage and off? So here's the key is I don't go on stage because I'm not in that like BS acting type of stuff. So my stage is here on the microphone with you guys, and I'm just going to be authentic. Your sellers know when you're being fake because it just seems cheesy and you make them uncomfortable. So don't do it. Last one, negative talk about competitors. If you have competition there, realtors, other wholesalers, I broke this rule definitely in my first 2 years and I regret it. I made a lot of mistakes. You talking negatively about the competition makes you look bad, not your competition. So when you sit there and just trash them, it just makes you look like an idiot. So number one, don't talk negative about them. Just don't highlight them. Well, Johnny over at ABC Home Buying, he says he can buy the house faster and pay me more than that. I go, that's great. I'm going to go back and talk about what I can do for you and what our company can do for you. I'm not going to put Johnny on the spotlight, but I'm not going to talk negatively about him. And then most of you wholesalers get really upset when realtors listing in there. That's why I always tell you, talk to people about listing their home. If they're going to list it, they're going to talk to realtors and they might list it anyway. So you might as well get the elephant out of the room and say, why would you ever consider just listing the property? And if they say, no, I don't like realtors or I don't like people parading through my house, then you can close that door. There's nothing worse when you go through the entire presentation and they tell you they're meeting with a realtor. That means you probably said something that made them uncomfortable or they lied to you in the initial qualification. qualifications. Either way, it's going to be wrong. So here's the bottom line. If you have competition, do not talk negatively in front of your seller about them. It just makes you look jealous. It makes you look scared, and it makes you look incompetent. So whenever anyone trashes the competition in front of me, especially when I'm like, I got competing realtors or something like that, I just instantly, I know what's going on. And I usually think it's a reflection of that person. If they're so insecure and they're so negative, if they would just focus on the skills they offered, this would be much easier. So I'd say, guys, I mean, this is the basis of what not to say to sellers. Replace the word with what you want and what they need. Seller, what do you need to get for this house? So you got to get somewhere.